Hi, everyone, and welcome to pre-departure information session. My name is Eunjung Ryoka, and I'm the Director of International Learning at Western International. We have a full agenda for this session to go through, but there will be also some time for Q&A at the end of this session. So if you could just wait to pose your questions at the end of the session using the Q&A function, that would be great. We'll also be recording our session, and we'll share it with you along with the PowerPoint presentation after the session. Even though it's not mandatory, we also would like to strongly encourage you, especially during the discussion and Q&A session, if you can turn your video on so that we can see each other and who we are talking to, and just so that we can provide everyone an opportunity to meet virtually. Again, this is not a requirement, but it would be great if you can turn your video on at that time. For the pre-departure session, let's move on to the agenda. For today's session, we're going to review safety abroad steps and discuss 2 case studies. And we're gonna go through a pre-departure checklist and a post-arrival checklist. So before we get started with the presentation, I would like to do a quick introduction to our international learning team. Again, my name is Eunjung Ryoka. I'm the Director of International Learning here at Western International, and I'm going to pass it over to Fan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fan, and I'm one of the International Learning Coordinator with Western International. I have seen lots of familiar names for those students who are going to UK for winter 23. I have been in touch with you. So I coordinate exchange programs, especially for the region of UK. So looking forward to hearing from you after you finish your international learning experience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rita, and I'm also an international learning coordinator. I coordinate the Asia and Oceania portfolio. And just like Fan, I'm also seeing lots of familiar names. So really glad to see you guys here.
Thank you, Rita. And we also have Anna Chiarelli, as she manages a European portfolio, but she couldn't attend a session tonight. And then I'm going to pass it over to Pin.
Hi, my name is Pin, and I'm the faculty-led study abroad and safety abroad coordinator. I'm going to talk about how to keep you safe while you're abroad today.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Now, I guess I'm going to pass it over to Pin, and she will talk about the safety abroad steps.
Okay, hello everyone. Good evening, and I'm very happy to see many new faces. I don't think I've met any of you here. However, I'm here to talk about how to maximize safety while you're abroad and the resources available for you. Okay, just one moment. Let me start this. Okay. Yeah, and please note that there will be action items after the session, so try not to fall asleep. Why do we mandate safety abroad requirements? Let's think about this question together. First of all, student safety is of utmost importance. However, unavoidably, there are risks involved in international travel. We've had students who lost their passports, missed their flights, got sick, and in early 2020, when COVID started to hit, we had to reach out to all the students who were abroad then and help bring them back. The good news is that while some problems are beyond anyone's control, many can be prevented. And completing Western safety abroad requirements is the most effective way to prevent these problems. Okay, here's another question. Who retains primary responsibility for preparing in advance of international travel? A, is it Western University? B, safety abroad coordinator, which is me? Or C, student traveler? Feel free to type in your answer in the chat box. Okay, good. I can see that. Okay, all of you answer is correctly. The correct answer is C, and I'm also happy to see that no one chose B. So this is a section from Western Safety Abroad Policy, and you can see it's 5.2. It says all student travelers retain primary responsibility for preparing themselves in advance of international travel, to research and be aware of the risk involved in their planned trip, to ensure they're physically and mentally prepared for the travel, to ensure they have appropriate medical and other insurance, to conduct themselves in a safe manner while traveling, and to bring any concerns they may have to the attention of the activity sponsor or the International Learning Office as soon as possible. And the Western International's role is to provide resources and support services aimed at facilitating safe travel for students. So the onus is on you, and we are here to support you. I encourage you to go to our website, International Learning, and check out the whole Western Safety Abroad policy. And the focus, my focus today is to go through these 7 important safety abroad steps with you together one by one. Some of the mandatory steps here are included in the international learning checklist that we send to you with your offer letter. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of you don't find these familiar. The good news is that there's still time and you can start doing these steps now. However, I wouldn't wait any longer. First step, this is all travel should start with. So this is a very good Government of Canada website. And this website provides information about everything you can and cannot think of in regards to traveling abroad. Travel advisories. So you can see that there are 4 levels of risks from level 1 to level 4. And the levels avoid non-essential travel and avoid all travel are official Government of Canada travel advisories and are issued when the safety and security of Canadians traveling or living in the country may be compromised. Western Safety Abroad policy restricts student travel to countries or regions with an official travel advisory stating avoid non-essential travel and avoid all travel. So basically it's level 3, the orange, and the level 4, avoid all travel, the red. Okay. I would recommend you to go to this website and enter your destination country and to see the travel advisories and to see if there's any, even if you notice that exercise a high degree of caution, you will see all the information in regards to why and what kind of caution you will need to exercise when going to that region or that country. If you do notice that there's a level 3 or level 4 travel advisory, please contact me immediately. It doesn't mean that you cannot go there. It's not possible for you to go there, but we need to follow a process to make sure that it's necessary and safe enough for you to go there. And also, I highly recommend that you go to this website. It's the same Government of Canada website, and it provides information about health and safety outside Canada. You can see that you can find all the information from how to use data plans outside Canada to like what to do when you are being forced into marriage. And I want to draw your attention to this section because this section provides advice for different types of travelers. That includes women, people with disabilities, and the LGBTQ2S+ community. This is step 2, and you can see here it's mandatory. So all Western students on university-sanctioned international travel will have to complete the mandatory pre-departure training. And it's also called International Pre-Departure and Post-Experience Training Modules. Western has developed 9 modules to help students prepare for their travel. And these 9 modules here are mandatory for you to complete. I also encourage you to finish this 2 optional modules, which is critical and ethical global engagement and gender norms and sexual violence. After you return to Canada, there are 2 post-experience modules as well to help you reflect on your experience and transfer your international experience into practical work and study skills. How do I satisfy this requirement? First, you need to complete the training modules through OWL. Each module will take about 30 minutes to go through. So 9 modules, each will take you about 4 to 5 hours. However, you don't have to do it in one sitting. Attempt the final quiz in OWL after you finish the 9 modules. And then you need to achieve the passing grade 80% and more, and you have 2 attempts, okay? If you cannot pass in 2 attempts, you cannot go abroad. Just kidding. It's okay, it's not the end of the world. If you cannot pass in 2 attempts, you can just email me and say, hey, Pin, I didn't pass. Can you grant me another chance? Of course, I will give you another chance. It's okay. It's just a little bit embarrassing. So my advice is that please learn your modules before attempting your quiz. After you pass, you will find your electronic certificate of completion there in OWL, and you need to upload it to travel registry, which I'm going to explain in next step. So this is what you will see. These are the 9 modules, and after you finish all the modules, click final quiz, and after you finish the quiz and get more than 80%, click on certification, and your certificate will be there. Download it to your computer because you will need to upload it to travel registry, which is in Atlas later. Okay, so now it's step 3, travel registry. This is also a mandatory step for you to complete in Atlas. What you need to do is to start here to log into Atlas through its homepage by click here, and then locate your existing application for your certain program. And you can see that all the previous steps should be complete by now. And you need to click on step 6, fill out travel registry, and that will take you to all these steps here. You need to complete all the steps, and so that you see all the check marks beside each section. You can see that we are asking for your emergency contact information, the name and contact information, and also the insurance policy information. We need you to provide us with your insurance provider's name and the policy number. Also, you will need to upload your certificate of completion of the pre-departure training modules here in additional documents, okay? So why are we collecting this information? Any thoughts? Feel free to type in your answers into the chat box. Like why? Why are we mandating this step for all the Western students going abroad on university sanctioned travel? Why are we asking for emergency contact information? Do I just want to give a random call to your mom? So that we are knowledgeable and safe, yeah. To ensure your safety, that's correct answer, but how? How to ensure your safety? And, you know, by collecting all this information. We collect this information so that, okay, how do we add the course modules to, okay. We can send out instructions to you later in a follow-up email, so you don't have to worry about that. And I can direct you to the place which shows you how to add the course modules to OWL. I can explain that later. But the reason why we're collecting this information and why we're asking to complete your travel registry is because that enables us to support you in case of an emergency. So in case of an emergency, with your permission, we can work together with your emergency contact and even your insurance provider to support you. But without travel registry, our hands would be tied. I can give you a recent example. Like 2 weeks ago, the tragic incident happened in South Korea. We had to use the information in travel registry to locate all the students who were in South Korea. And we reach out to them to check in and to make sure that they are safe. So it is super important for us to have this information so that, we can support you in case of an emergency. Because we rely heavily on this information. And we are asking you to complete this at least 3 weeks before your travel date. Travel and insurance coverage. All Western travelers are required to possess out-of-country medical insurance. And always read the fine print. This is a sad and true story with a fake name posted on the Government of Canada website. Lisa had insurance that lapsed 3 weeks before she was involved in an accident. Her Canadian family had to raise $300,000 over a 3-day period to cover the cost of medical treatment and evacuation. Fortunately, she survived, but her family is left with a hefty debt to repay. So we are asking you to ensure that you have sufficient medical coverage, especially for emergencies. Just because we don't want unforeseen bills to ruin your international experience and ruin your life. It is also highly recommended that you arrange for travel in addition to medical insurance to cover your time abroad, which may cover expenses incurred due to lost baggage, flight cancellations, missed flights, or other unexpected scenarios, which happens a lot during these days. And regardless of your insurance plan, it is important to review and become familiar with exactly what your plan covers, how long it lasts, and where and how it works. Be sure to ask whether the plan covers the pre-existing medical conditions and COVID-related costs. And also verify the insurance requirements of your host institution and host country. Some institutions or countries may require that you purchase a specific national medical insurance as part of your visa or immigration application. Where can you get insurance? You can get through Western, which I will explain in my next slide, or your parents' insurance. Ask your parents to see if you are covered. Or you can arrange it through a travel agent, insurance broker, or your credit card company. Okay. All full-time Western undergrad students are automatically enrolled in the USC Health and Dental Plan, unless you have opted out. This USC plan provides out-of-country emergency medical insurance. Please note they provide insurance for emergency cases only, not day-to-day stuff. To confirm your coverage under USC, ensure you contact them well before your travel date. And I would suggest that you check out this website first, Purple Care, and go to benefits plan details, travel insurance, and read this benefits booklet. So you will see the details about the coverage, okay? So everything not there, you will not be covered. And if you have any specific questions, reach out to them, and they have a general inquiry line. And they are very responsive. If you have any questions, just call this number and they will provide you with answers right away. Okay, so this step, register with Canadians abroad. If you are a Canadian, this is just another layer of support for you. Government of Canada will also support you in case of an emergency if you registered with them. Okay, and this is optional. It just provides you with extra support. Step 6, obtain any acquired vaccinations or health checks. So also this is Government of Canada website. You can enter your destination here and it will give you a list of vaccination recommendations. You can consult a healthcare provider or visit a travel clinic to discuss any health concerns you have about your trip and assess your needs. It's at your discretion to decide whether or not to get additional vaccinations for your destination. Last but not least, learn how to stay safe abroad by using these amazing international SOS service. Western has invested in global medical and security assistance through international SOS. This program is designed to keep you healthy, safe, and secure while you are traveling abroad. In the event of an emergency abroad, international SOS will be your first point of contact. In fact, you can reach out to them anytime by phone or in the app in any language and for any assistance, emergency and non-emergency. You can sign up for their alerts. So if anything were to happen, you will get immediate alerts relevant to your locations. And their comprehensive database also provides a wealth of information on your destination countries. You can use international SOS to prepare for your travel while you are abroad or in an emergency. To prepare, you can call an assistance center for free pre-travel information or if you have any concerns. While abroad, they offer free and unlimited health, safety, and security advice, and can also help find a local nurse, internationally trained doctor, or security specialist. In an emergency, international SOS can also help arrange medical transportation and care, as well as evacuation when necessary. And you can find more information here on their website. On top of all these services, international SOS also provides emotional support to you while you are abroad. You can get 5 free counseling sessions per incident per year when participating in a university-sanctioned international program. Please note that students not on a university-sanctioned international program or students on campus should reach out to Western or local resources instead of international SOS. And I also want to clarify that international SOS is not insurance. It provides medical safety and security assistance, but you will need to have insurance to cover most of the cost incurred in this process, such as medical bills, transportation cost, etc. How do you start? Download the app now. You can download it now or after the session, and you can start explore their cool features there. Okay. And we'll distribute the PowerPoint slides and the recording after. So yeah, you don't have to like take pictures or anything. Where can I find all this information? I know this may sound a bit overwhelming to you, and especially when this is the first time you hear this information. You can find all this information here in our international learning website and all the steps here, and click on the step, you will see the details in the drop-down sections. And where should I start? I suggest you start with step 2 if you have not done so. Complete pre-departure training. And then once you have passed the quiz, and you can move on to step 3, travel registry. And the travel registry, if you have all the information, it will just take you 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. And in the meantime, review your insurance coverage and the vaccination requirement. And when you have a moment, download the International SOS app. Okay, here's just some safety abroad tips that I'm giving you. These are not made up by me. These are, unfortunately, lessons learned. And most of the cases, lessons learned the hard way. So please take these seriously. Okay, and if you have any questions about safety abroad, feel free to reach out to me because I'm here to help you. Okay, now I will invite Anjang to introduce a case study.
Thank you, Pin. Hope that information was very helpful, and it was certainly quite a good reminder to go through those steps. Thank you so much, Pin. Now we're going to move into case studies. So we put together 2 case studies. These are, as Pin mentioned, real examples of what actually happened to our students in the past. And so what we're going to do is we're going to move to a Jamboard. And I would like to hear from you what you would do in the case of this scenario. So I'm going to add the Jamboard link here so that you guys can go to that Jamboard and start typing your response. Oh, here it is. Okay. So Pin, if you want to change the screen to Jamboard, that would be great. So people can see it. Right. So the first scenario is this. You're traveling on an overnight train through a country in which English is not spoken. When you woke up in the morning, you find all of your belongings strewn all over your cabin. Your iPhone, money, and passport have all been stolen. What would you do? So I'm going to give you about 2 to 3 minutes to think about that. And I would ask you to drag this a little sticky note on the left-hand side and click that button sticky note and then start typing your answer.
Can you see the Jamboard now?
Yes, yeah, I can see that. Pin, do you want to click that sticky note so that people can see? Perfect. Excellent. Contact a conductor for someone who speaks English or has access to a public phone. Yes. Good thinking. Go to Canadian Embassy. Yes. Anyone else? We won't be seeing names here, so please feel free. It doesn't matter what, there's no correct answers here. You guys are really thinking through the scenario and just put a response to what you would do. Connect with International SOS. Yes. Somebody heard Pin's presentation. What else? Really, that kind of sort of captures, right? Yeah, connect with Western International. Those are all great answers. And look through your belongings to see which ones are missing before reaching out so you can explain the situation in more detail. Really good thinking. And anything else before we switch to the actual ideal answer or step? Everything that you guys posted there are all correct. So let's switch to the ideal steps presentation, Pin. That will be the next slide. Yes. So you guys have it right. First of all, of course, when things like this happen, please don't panic and you got to think through. And you're right. First, we got to find the train conductor to report or ask them to call the local police. Or if you can borrow a phone from someone on the train to report the local police, you may physically have to go to the police station and file a report as well and call ISOS. Use their collect call or the number that you will, hopefully you will have another copy of the phone number. But then if you lost your phone, you may have a hard time to do that. But if you borrow a phone, you Google it, ISOS, you should be able to get the phone number as well. And once you reach ISOS, then they will assist you with further instruction and they will advise you where the closest Canadian embassy will be. And they can also facilitate money transfers and assist in making hotel bookings just to make sure that you will be safe. They can further analyze the situation and provide the most appropriate plan of action. So once you arrive at the destination, then you would have to go to the nearest consulate or embassy to replace your passport. It is always advisable to have a copy of your passport. But if you don't, you would still go to the consulate or embassy and to receive, they will give you a temporary travel document just so that you have something with you, and ISOS will be able to help try to help you with the safe place while you're waiting for your new passport. So that would be ideal steps to take. Now we're going to go into this case study 2, but then I'm going to pass this over to Fan for quick outbound checklist before we discuss case 2.
Thanks, St. John. So I'm going to go over a few things that you need to be aware before going on your exchange or international learning experience. Although we have included all this information in the checklist when you receive the nomination letter from us, some of you may forget about it. So it's always good to have that refresher and a reminder to make sure that you check all the boxes before you go on exchange or leaving for international learning experience. So the first one is course approval. If you're going on exchange, you need to complete the course approval process before you go on exchange. If you're going for a study abroad experience, you need to complete the letter of permission process through the Office of the Registrar. So we have really detailed instructions on how to complete the course approval process. So if you're not really sure what to do, please contact us by emailing us. We can send you the instructions. So basically, you need to research the courses at the host institution, and then bring the course information to the academic department academic counselor for them to review, and they will assess the course information that you provide, and then provide the course equivalency to which courses here at Western is equivalent to the course that you want to take aboard. And also, after you get the approval from all the academic department, you will need to have the final approval from your faculty academic counselor. So this process is to really make sure that you will be able to transfer your credit back to Western. Although ideally, we want students to complete this process 6 weeks before your travel date to make sure that you will not have any problems taking the courses abroad at the host institution and be able to transfer the credit back after you complete your exchange or international learning program. We do understand things change. Sometimes when students arrive at the host institution, they realize that some of the courses are not available for them to take, or they have to make changes to their courses, which is okay. So whenever that you have to make a change to your course approval form, make sure that you get the new course approved by your academic counselor, and always send us an updated copy of your course approval form once you have it. So in that way, we always have a record in the system. Your academic counselor have a record in the system to make sure after you finish your international learning experience, there is no problem to transfer your credit back. Again, you can find the course approval form on our website. You can download a copy and then start filling out the form, and then contact your academic departments to get those courses approved, and make sure to send us a copy once you have all the signatures and the form is completed. So that's for the course approval. It's really important. We don't want you to go on international learning experience, and then after you finish, you have problems with transferring the credit back. So this is very important to make sure that you complete that. Another point that I want to touch base on is finances and scholarships. As we do understand, going on international learning experience is not cheap, it's expensive, and we do have a lot of support to help you. So make sure you create a budget. It really depends on where you're going. There is estimated living cost provided by the host institution and also available on Atlas on the program page. So do some research, make sure that you do a budget, that you have enough money to cover the period of time that you will be living and studying abroad. And West International, we also have a lot of awards and scholarships available for students going on exchange and international learning experiences. So make sure that you check our website. There's eligibility requirement for each scholarship and award. There's also a award database on the Office of the Registrar's website, and make sure that you can search for the different scholarship opportunities on the database and submit your application for the ones that you are eligible for. Another tip that I have is to check with your faculty. So I know some of the faculty, they have separate extra scholarship funding opportunities for students who are participating in international learning programs. So it's always a good idea to check with your faculty and to see if there's any other scholarship that you can apply for. And then at this point, you probably should have already completed the host institution application for the students going on exchange in early January or even late December. You should have already completed this step. So after we nominate you to the host institution, in most of the cases, you will be contacted directly by the host institution with the information for their application process. So each institution have their individual application process. They request different documentations. So make sure that you follow their instructions and submit application by their deadline. So being approved by Western doesn't mean that you are approved by the host institution. There's a 2 steps of application process. You do need to make sure that you complete the host institution application process. And then if you are accepted and approved, the host institution will send you the official offer letter. Another thing is the student's visa and immigration. So this information is provided by the host institution. So when we nominate you to the host institution, you should receive all the information from the host institution regarding accommodation, housing, selecting courses, and also student visa. So unfortunately, our office are not authorized to provide any immigration advice or submit any documents on your behalf. So we really rely on the host institution to provide that support. And also, you know, the requirement for students can be different. It depends on your citizenship, depends on the length of the program. So make sure that you check with your host institution if you have any questions, you don't know what type of visa that you need to apply for, or if whether you need a visa, please make sure that you understand all the requirement and communicate with your host institution if needed. And again, just general tips for travel plans. We really highly recommend that you consider purchasing refundable or flexible flights, especially we're still kind of in the pandemic. There's lots of uncertainties. So when you try to book your travel plans, your tickets, consider purchasing refundable tickets in case of the situation where you have to make changes to your travel plans. Last but not the least, stay in contact with us. We are going to communicate with you by your UW-ODO email. So make sure that you check it often. And also if there's anything that you need our support when you are aboard or before you go on exchange or after you come back, if there's any questions, anything that we can support you with, you can always contact us through the GoBoard email, which is the email that we have been using to contact you. I see there's a question. Injan, you already answered the question, or we can come back to that question afterwards.
Yeah, we can come back to those questions afterwards.
Okay. Sounds good. Now I'm gonna turn over back to Injan for the second case study.
Thank you, Fan. So I know course transferability is definitely important for those of you who are studying abroad, particularly and on an exchange. So let's move into scenario question 2. So go back to your Jamboard and let's think about what we will do for the scenario question 2. So this is the scenario. Again, this did happen. You have arranged to meet with an international staff from your host exchange university and were informed that the courses you have pre-selected at Western are canceled. This means that you could only take 2 courses out of the 5 that you selected. What would you do in this case? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about, and please go ahead and put your response there using sticky note. That's great answer. Yes, Western International and your academic counselor in your faculty at Western. Try to find open courses that I could register in with my host exchange university staff and get it approved by Western. Fantastic. Select new courses. Yes. You guys are fantastic. I think you are all ready to go. You know all those answers. Let's see what else. Ask them to provide a list of courses that are available and then contact Western International and faculty with this information to find what can get approved. Excellent. That's great. That's great. So let's move to the slide for ideal steps. You're all correct in answering those questions. So immediately inform your academic counselor of the cancellation of the courses. And then you would review other courses that are available to choose with your academic advisor in the hosted university and share the list of replacement courses with your academic counselor at Western. And once they are reviewed and approved by your Western academic counselor, then you could officially register for the courses at the host institution and revise the course approval form and submit it to both Western International and to your academic counselor. So that would be ideal steps. Now it does happen, and it happens at Western as well. This is where our coordinators often had to support our inbound incoming exchange students from many different countries. So again, you would be able to select other courses that are available, and the open communication between yourself and our coordinator and your academic counselor will be key to ensure that you are taking the right courses. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to move into now the last presentation piece. Once you arrive in your host country and institution, these are the steps that you would have to make sure that you have to be mindful of. So I'm going to pass it over to Rita, and she will share the last presentation slide.
Awesome. Thank you, Eunjung. As Eunjung said, I'm just going to speak briefly with you about your post-arrival checklist. The first thing you have to make sure about is visa processes. Once you arrive at your exchange institution, you may need to check in with the visa office or the international student office to alert them of your arrival. Make sure that you research these regulations before you arrive, so you have all the documentation you need or anything else that you need to do once you do arrive at your institution. The next thing you have to make sure of is of COVID regulations. You may be aware that COVID regulations might be different for both the country and the host institution. It could potentially be the case that you have different requirements for each of these. So you want to be aware of all of these regulations before you enter the country and to make sure that you're up to date with all required vaccinations. If the country or the host institution require proof of vaccination, you also want to make sure you have that on hand, both electronically and potentially a paper copy as well, just in case you need that. Now moving on to academics, we've talked about this quite a lot, but once you arrive at your host institution, you may need to actually go in person to register in courses, especially if the original courses you selected are no longer available. As we mentioned in the case study and elsewhere, it's a process of essentially getting back to your academic counselor and to Western International, letting us know that you would like to switch courses, doing the course approval process, and going through essentially the registration process once again. In terms of your transcripts, what another thing you need to be aware of regarding transcripts is that there is a different process for getting those once you do complete your studies at the host institution. It could be that they will request a paper transcript, an e-transcript, or whatever else to be sent to Western. So make sure that you're aware of the process so that you're able to successfully get it to us as soon as you finish your studies. Next, make sure to be mindful of all academic deadlines for your host institution, especially the add drop date, so that you're able to change courses if you need without incurring any academic penalties. Okay, so for the last piece regarding accommodation, regardless of whether or not you'll be living on campus or off campus, you may have to follow a check-in procedure in order to make sure that your host knows that you're here and that you've arrived. Make sure you have all the necessary documentation you need to check in, and you can always ask your host institution for further information, especially if you're living on campus. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to Pin now.
Thank you, Rita. So if you have any further questions, here's our contact information. Any program-related inquiries, please email goabroad@uw.ca. And for any safety abroad inquiries, please reach out to me at travelregistry@uw.ca, and I monitor that email. If you want to connect with each other, you're welcome to join this Facebook group, so you can connect with your peers. And now let's move on to the questions. So any questions? Anyway, you can type in the chat.
I see Tanisha, or was it, did you raise your hands up, or were you just kind of saying thank you?
Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I was just meant to raise my hand, but I clicked the clapping.
Oh,
thing.
okay. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, I looked at my like the email that's like originally sent when you get like accepted into the program, and I'm like unable to click the documents that were like attached in the email, like the FAQs and like the checklist things. I was just wondering if you guys would be able to share that again with me, just so I can make sure I've completed everything before going.
Ben, do you want to answer that?
Sure, we can definitely send you the document. There's actually the link at the bottom
Yeah.
of the email. So have you tried clicking on that link and
Yeah,
it's not
so
working?
when I click on the link, it basically says like this page doesn't exist anymore. So I'm like, I don't know if you guys like change the what's it called? Like the Atlas thing. I'm not sure, but like it just says like the page doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, cool. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna send email to all the students going on exchange in winter 2023 and including those documents in that email.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Okay, so I'm going to go through this chat and I'm going to pose a student's question here. So first one, I think a Pin, originally Sarah asked how she can add the course modules to OWL. Do you want to start with that?
Yes, that's right. So remember the international learning website I show you that explains all the steps from step 1 to step 7. And under step 2, it says pre-departure training modules. I finished that. And if you click on that, you will see the detailed instructions in the drop-down section. So it will tell you how to add the course to your OWL. So just... Yeah.
Pin, I wonder if you can just show your screen and sort of show the steps and the website link. That might be helpful.
Yes, I can definitely do that.
Okay, while Pin is getting that web link, I will ask another question here. Yeah, somebody said Facebook group link, and we just posted that. Tommy, yes, that is a Facebook group. Facebook group is the, at the moment, is the only group that we do share with all our outbound students, where you'll be able to connect, share some information, and to support. That is what we use. We don't currently have any other platform. So hopefully you would be able to use Facebook group. Now, another question is, how many courses do we need to take abroad to be considered a full-time student? Rita, do you want to answer that?
Absolutely. It really does depend on the university as well. So different universities, different countries may have different required minimum number of courses that you need to take. So make sure to have that conversation with your host institution first to understand what the required courses are, or the required minimum courses. For us at Western, essentially, you are still paying for a full-time course load. So many students, because they're already paying for full-time studies, they do end up taking a full course load, which could be 2.0 credits per term or 2.5 credits per term, or a full course load of 5.0 credits for the entire academic year. So it really is up to you to understand what the host institution wants, what the visa requirements for being having a student visa in that country are, and then understanding your own degree progression requirements as well.
Thank you, Rita. Hope that answered your question. Maybe I'll go through more questions and then we'll go back to Pin. Okay, what would happen if there weren't enough courses that could get approved? Are we allowed to take an online course at Western in order to get enough credits? That's a really good question. Fan or Rita, what do you think?
Sure, I can answer that. So normally, we don't allow students to enroll in any Western courses for the term that you will be on exchange. So when you are set to go on exchange, we forward your information to the Office of the Registrar, and they will put a special code for students who will be on exchange for that term. With that code, you won't be able to enroll in any Western courses for the period that you will be away. However, I'm not sure in John if we want to, in the special scenario, I mean, like if you have to take a course, this has to be approved by your academic counselor. So it's not up to our office. If you want to request, special permission to enroll in online courses while you're on exchange, you need to talk to your academic counselors. It has to be approved by the academic department, has to be approved by the faculty, and has to be communicated with the Office of the Registrar.
Right. So that is as part of the scenario case study we went over. So all those course approval is done at academic counselor's office. So depending on which faculty you guys are from, those courses or any exception has to be approved by your faculty. So that would be the answer for that question. And next question is there a minimum or maximum number of courses we can or have to take on exchange? I think Rita sort of answered that. It's really depending on, my understanding is that you do have to maintain full-time status, and full-time status at Western is 3.5 credit. Is that correct, Ben and Rita? But also you have to meet full-time status at your host institution as well. So you do have to make sure that you are, it's because of your visa status. So you have to make sure that you are maintaining those full-time status. Next question is, how do we find the insurance company and policy number for the USC insurance? Pin, do you want to take that?
Yes, you can find it on their website, and the website that I just showed you, Purple Care. And so there's a booklet, benefits booklet, and just under that, there's a student card. So you can find all the information there. So if I can go to that. Let me see.
Well, that would be great. So you're gonna be
Yeah.
able to show that website and the other one. So we'll just, while you're waiting, while we are doing.
Let me show you now, actually. So,
Okay, perfect.
yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, yeah, we can.
So this is Purple Care, and you click on this benefits plan and then click on travel insurance. And you can see the benefits booklets here, and there's travel medical assistance card. So you can just click on this card and you can see all the information here, including a policy number.
Perfect. Do you mind adding that link to chat, Pin?
Yes, I can do that. And also to answer Sarah's question about how to add the course to OWL. So this is like all the steps for students. Step 2, complete pre-departure training. And you just click on this pre-departure training. And it gives you a brief introduction, and then it shows you how to complete it and how to add the course. So all the
Perfect.
instructions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you can add both
Yeah.
links into chat, that would be great.
Definitely, yes.
Let's see, we have 5 more minutes and there are more questions. So next question is, where will we be able to find the recording of this session? So we are going to actually send it to you by email. So once this session is done, we will be sending follow-up with you with the recording and the presentation slides. Next question is, should I wait to get accepted by the host university before submitting a course approval form? Ben, you want to take that?
Yeah, I would suggest that you start the process as soon as possible. It doesn't hurt to start the process right now before you get the final official approval from the host institution. Again, you probably want to be as flexible as you can and to get more courses approved. In the case some of the courses that you want to take will not be accepted by the host institution, you want to make sure that you have those backup courses and be flexible. So I would say start doing some research and start having that conversation with the academic counselor and your faculty academic counselor and start gathering those course informations at least. And then you can even start doing the course approval process before you get the final official offer letter from the host institution.
Thank you, Fan. Next question is, my maximum possible courses that were allowed to take is 4 courses at the host institution. Despite it not being Western's full course load, would this count as 5 because it's their equivalent full course load? Rita, do you want to answer that?
For sure. This is a really great question, and it's particularly relevant to students in going to Australia, for example. The maximum number of units you're allowed to take there is 4 per term. That's totally okay. Your academic counselor will guide you through this process and say that sometimes, those 4 units are equivalent to 2.5 credits at Western, which is a full course load for 1 term. So really have that discussion with your academic counselor to confirm this. But in that case, if it counts as a full course load at your host institution, it will most likely count as a full course load at Western as well. So that's kind of like the general rule. As long as you're taking the maximum courses that the institution is allowing, we consider that a full course load as well. But you will always want to check in with your academic counselor to make sure of that before you leave.
Perfect. Thank you, Rita. Next question. In Denmark, it seems like getting a visa, you're eligible to get a CPR number, which gives you access to their healthcare system. Would I still need to get separate health insurance, even if I'm covered under that? Ben, you want to answer that?
I think Ping can provide further information on that. But I think we encourage you to look their policies and make sure what exactly that you are covered. It's always your decision to decide whether you want to purchase extra insurance for your international learning experience. As Ping already mentioned, you are covered under USC insurance plan. Some of the countries, for example, for UK as well, if you're going for the full year, you have to purchase, you're enrolled under their health insurance system and get the insurance covered as well. But you probably want to just read all the insurance coverage that you currently have and make sure that you have enough coverage, and it's your decision whether you want to get extra insurance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with Fan. So you would need to confirm with USC about your coverage. And I'm not sure how long your study abroad or exchange period will be, but USC only covers you up until 180 days. So for anything extra, you will need to arrange, your own insurance. So talk to your insurance provider and make sure that you're covered. And I can see that this would not cover emergency, right? Medical emergency, but USC would cover that. So you will need to talk to both sides and to make sure. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And I think we have a last question here. At what point should we unenroll in second semester courses at Western, or will this occur automatically? Great question. Who wants to take that?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. You will want to unenroll in those courses because you want to be registered as an outgoing exchange student. So feel free to do so now, especially if you've gotten your certificate of enrollment from your host institution as well. Go ahead and unenroll so that we know that you are outbound on exchange.
Perfect. Thank you. And we do have one more question, and I know it's 7 o'clock. So we'll take this last question. The student visa for my country takes on average 2 months to get, but my courses start less than 2 months from now. And I just got my visa application yesterday. I asked someone from the country's embassy and they said I can't enter the country without a visa. What happens if I don't have my visa before my classes start and my flight is? This is, this did happen, and one of our students actually ended up unable to go to the country that she was supposed to go in the fall because of the delay in visa. I would encourage you, so you just received your visa application yesterday, so don't delay, fill out the application and just process it as soon as possible. And I would continue monitoring the status and would connect with your host institution. In some cases, host institutions would accept our students, even though they may arrive after the first day of class, as long as there is a communication between our office and yourself and our host institution, that'll be acceptable. And they do make some exceptional approval. But what's most important thing is you do have to have visa in hand before you travel. So perhaps it would be important to continue communicating with the embassy and ask for the status and let them know that when the semester starts in the host country and institution. There's really no magic answer. Students must have visa in hand before they travel. I guess, okay, so 2 more questions. And I read somewhere that we don't need a visa for only a single term exchange on my host institution. Is this true?
I don't know which institution it is that you're going to. I would definitely say check in first with your host institution directly to make sure that this is the case. You don't want to get stuck in a situation where you're 1 month from leaving and you don't have your visa ready. So definitely make sure to connect with them directly. If you need any help finding contact information, just email us at Go Abroad and we will get you in touch with the host institution for this.
Thank you, Rita. And looks like that's it. Again, if we didn't address any of your questions, or if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to Go Abroad at our Go Abroad, uw.ca. And for any travel-related questions, feel free to reach out to PIN Travel Registry at uwo.ca. And thank you, everyone. And don't forget to participate. Many awesome, exciting events that are happening during International Week, during the week of November 21st. There will be an opportunity for you to meet with some of our outbound students during the drop-ins. So feel free to attend those sessions and let us know if you have any further questions. And thank you and have a good night.